Welcome back, traders, to the afternoon show for Trade Cave. Let's look at Bitcoin. Let's talk about Disney for a second, PayPal, and then I'll look at the miners. So, Bitcoin, it broke to the upside. Yesterday, off of this doji here candle, I said in yesterday's video that it could go either way. I wasn't sure, and I had no idea it was going to go up or down, but we went up again. It looks very similar to the previous candle here when we got our inflows from the BTC ETFs. So maybe that's what happened here today. That started around 11 a.m.-ish. When we started getting that, I got a nice notification on some comments on my earlier video today, um, stating that, it's 11 a.m. Miners are going up, and they are. We're not quite overbought yet on the daily, so we might still have some room to run. We are in that bigger downward channel, though, and we're coming up towards the center of it where we might get rejected. But I mean, everything looks good right now, but Bitcoin always looks good till it doesn't, and it looks bad until it doesn't. That's just Bitcoin's a wild ride. Let's take a look at Disney. Disney paid out today for me. If you watch my shorts at all, you can see it here. Um, I made a 29% return on the Disney calls that I called out on January 22nd. It wasn't like a huge amount or anything, but the technical analysis was right, and it paid out 30%. It's actually higher than when I sold it. I actually got out, if I go to like the 1 hour chart, yeah, I got out at around 96.50, and that's because I started seeing it getting oversold here and hitting resistance, and I didn't want to. I set a stop loss about 10% below where it was, and yeah, and just that tiny wick, that was enough to take me out of the move before it moved on, which I'm okay with. I mean, I was up 30%. That was a win as far as I was concerned, and I was not upset to get kicked out up 30%. So that's how that went. I did miss out on the rest of this move up here, which would have been probably another 20%, but that's okay. I'll wait for Disney to give me another opportunity, maybe when it comes back to this 5 or even this 20 and then moves back on upward towards that $100 mark that I've got in my mind for it. PayPal, actually, PayPal came back today. It was great. So now I'm only down, what, like 30% on this due to this big move after that announcement on the 24th, 25th. Um, it's kind of trucking on up in this aggressive upward movement because this was a knee-jerk reaction by the market against PayPal. So it's kind of moving back on it. It's in this very aggressive upward move. We're coming towards the center of this upward channel where I might see some resistance, where it might come back down, test the 20 again before moving back on up. But like I've mentioned before, I've got till mid-March on this one. So this was a minor setback, temporary setback. And I think we're out of this downward channel now. If I go here and I go like this, connect the three and do one of these. Oop. Yeah, we're out of it now. Solidly out of it. I don't think we're even going to back test that. If we did, we'd be coming back to the lows. So I don't think that's going to happen, but we might back test the 20 before moving on up. So I am still down on the PayPal call. And that was a black swan event. Technical analysis is really only about 70% of it. And then the other 30% is going to be news catalysts, outside catalysts that I can't be aware of until they happen. And once they've happened, it's kind of too late to do anything about it except write it out. Hopefully, I didn't have a stop set on this, which was bad risk management on my part. I should have had a stop set, and I am currently down about 30-35% um, on that decision. And I just have to live with that and either watch it continue to grind up as it is doing, as the indicators show that it probably would do, or cut my losses. I'm choosing to hold because I do think PayPal is overall bullish, that the news was in fact bullish, and that was a knee-jerk reaction by the market that will be corrected here in the coming days. You can see we never went crossed under the 5 over the 15-day, and we're coming up. I keep calling it the 20, the yellow. It's the 15, it's not the 20. We are squeezing in an upward direction, so when that squeeze goes, it's gonna move big, I think. I think we're gonna come to the top of the range when it does. So hopefully that's what happens, and I can actually recover from that black swan event that I had no way of seeing coming for me. Anyways, now let's look at the miners. They actually got interesting. They weren't interesting when before market open, but they are interesting now. So let's take a look at Marathon. Marathon right now. This this is a cup. We're seeing a cup form right here. It's a really nice cup too. A really nice cup right here. Let's go into a smaller time frame and see what that looks like. Also, we're bouncing around between the 15 and the 200. Where is Oh yeah, I don't even, not the 200, that's the 15 and the 50. Uh, I thought I had changed this indicator. I'll have to do it again. I did add the 200 to it before, but it reverted to the old version for some reason, which only has the 5, the 15, and the 50. So right now we're just above the 50, struggling between that and the 20 on the daily. We're away from the daily on the 5, so we have some room to come down here to about $17. Remember that level here around 17, 17-ish, 17, 12-ish? Remember that when we get down into the smaller time frames. Let's go down to 2 hours. All right, now we're seeing what's going on here in the 2 hours. You can see this cup is just so good. There's like such a nice curve on that cup. And we're starting to build a handle. If you notice, we came right into my box here this morning, so it shot up as Bitcoin moved up right into my box, tapped the underside of 20 here, almost 1975. I got close, but look where it rests over here, like right on this candle, right around the top of the body here on this candle, forming that cup. Did not go above my box, came right to the center of it, and then rejected down, and now it's following the 50 on the 2 hour. It's stuck under the 5 now. This, and if you remember, the 50 on the daily is down here, just under 17, right where we're headed for on our handle. And if this holds like that, we'll be looking at something like, let's make it a little wider, something like this. If it stays aggressive, I don't know if it'll stay that aggressive, maybe something more like this, where we come down, hit that 17 in the next couple of days, and then move on up again probably. But I do have some buy orders down here. And again, this is not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. It's just what I'm seeing and thinking when I look at this chart and what I may choose to do with my own portfolio. But I have a buy order set here around 17, about 1716, 1720-ish in there. And that is where I plan on getting some Marathon Digital. And if we look at the other ones like CleanSpark, CLSK, I have so many drawings on this one. Same kind of thing. Big deep cup coming down. We can come all the way down, honestly, to this green line here at 773 and still be bullish and still be on that upward path with a cup and handle. It's doing the same thing. Now let's look at Bit Digital. Same kind of thing. We got kind of a sloppier cup, but a cup all the same. Bit of a handle forming. It can come back up to here before moving back down, but it's trying to make like a kind of an ugly handle, but you know, handle all the same. Let's look at Bit Farms. Same thing. We got our cup. About right there. Yeah, those bodies match up right here at 251, our cup. And then we're coming down on the handle. This one we might go as low as, maybe not there, probably about right there. It's about 226 before I'd see a turnaround on that, before I'd expect to see a turnaround on that. So let me put that up there to about 226. But we've got cup and handle forming on many of our favorite coin miners. Let's look at Cypher. I know I made a video kind of doing some FUD on them a little bit, just because I didn't like the diversification of their shares. That was brought up in the comments, that it was Bitfury's sale of them, and the diversification of the shares is a good thing, and it is true, that is a good thing. But I want to see it first before I start committing to Cypher again. I want to see that diversification. I don't want to just know it's going to happen. I want to see it happen, because I mean, these are already very risky assets to trade and to own, and any of them that are extra risky compared to their peers, I'm keeping a close eye on, and probably keeping it at arm's length, and kind of watching, waiting, see what happens with those. Though I do think Cypher will go up with the rest of the Bitcoin miners when they start taking off. I do think that is the case. I don't think Cypher is going to be different. I don't think the sale by Bitfury is going to damage the stock too badly, but I just don't, as a fundamental level for me, for my portfolio, I don't like the heavy concentration. I want to see that diversification before I am willing to put my money into Cypher again. That is all. If that doesn't bother you, go for it. But it bothers me for now. And just like with Bit Digital, I had a big Bit Digital bag. I sold the majority of it because I did not like what they were doing. I sold it in profit, for one, because I did not like what they were doing. Price came down. They started fixing some of those problems, and I reinvested in Bit Digital. So that could happen with Cypher. I don't like what's happening there right now, so I'm staying away from it. But if that changes, my opinion will change too, and I will then possibly pick some up, or the warrants again in those situations, or if it just comes down low enough, perhaps. I mean, and this was a great buying opportunity down here at the 215 level. We might not see lows like that again. That might not happen again. That could have been like an amazing buying opportunity for a lot of people. And if you got in down there, congratulations to you. You're probably going to do very well with this with Cypher going forward. You can see this one also kind of has a cup. It's much uglier cup. Much uglier, but I'd expect it probably to come back down a little bit before moving on again. Let's take a look at Hut. Hut, I haven't talked about Hut in a while. Hut, same thing. It's forming a cup. Came almost to the bottom of my channel here. Started coming down again. I think this 15 will probably be support. We might fill this gap right here. This gap fill right there. That might be where the handle comes down to and then bounces out of. And I'll leave that on the chart here. And then we may see ourselves re-enter this channel, battle this channel for a little while before moving on again. So these setups don't look bad. They are looking fairly bullish, but I do think there'll probably be a short-term pullback in our future. I'm sort of surprised that we're not seeing more upside on the miners today, considering Bitcoin was up so much. I mean, they pumped with Bitcoin initially, but then they started to fall pretty quickly after, and that was interesting to see, considering Bitcoin was going up, and it's still kind of going up a little bit even now. But the miners have been falling all afternoon. So there's a bit of a divergence there right now. I'm not exactly sure what is causing that, but they are forming bullish formations on their charts. And if they stick to the technical analysis of that and no bad news comes out on any individual level or market level as a whole, we should see some further decline and then some pretty big up moves because cup and handle formations do amazing things, as I have pointed out in previous videos on the SPY. And like, let's look at one of Tesla right now. I actually played this today. So if we go to Tesla, this is actually on the 10-minute chart. Whoops. I know I didn't plan on talking about this, but this one was really good. All right, yeah, there it is. You see it? This is actually a trade I did today. So you see the cup right here. Cup started forming 189, came down, came up to again 189. It was a bit lower. Like that cup was lower. You can see like it didn't quite get all the way up there. Um, but then it started forming this handle. And I set my line here. And I said, price can't go any lower than that, any lower than that, and it's not a handle anymore. Came right to it, bounced off of it. I got in. Honestly, I front ran it on this candle right here, this first blue one, and then rode this one all the way up. Got kicked out on it because I did a very tight stop loss on the way up on this thing because it was just moving so fast. I didn't want to I don't want to end up losing money. So I got stopped out somewhere up here on this candle. And then, I mean, it continued to go up, which was pretty cool. But like, that's a cup and handle, and that cup and handle did a move of from 188 all the way to 191, which on a 10-minute time frame, this happened in 10, 20, 30 minutes. It did. I mean, technically 40 minutes if you want to go to the very tippy top of it, but 30 minutes for this huge move. I mean, if you scale that up, like on SPY, that was like a move of what, 50, $60. And in this case, I mean, it was a $4 move, but it happened in less than an hour. Honestly, the majority of it, I was up and out in less than a minute or two. It was just, I saw this handle forming and I said, that's probably going to happen. As soon as this candle closed, I entered and I was like, woo, all the way up. Um, but cup and handles are my favorite right now. My favorite formation. They're pretty powerful. They can do a lot of stuff. We were also in a squeeze. So that's why I'm looking at them. I'm pointing them out, and that's also why this is making me so excited on the Mara chart, because that is forming a pretty nice cup and handle on the daily. No, not the daily. 2 hour is forming a decent cup and handle formation. I mean, it even did a little one right here and popped up, but we're doing an even bigger one here. I'd like to see this, like the deeper this handle goes without crossing the center, like the middle point of the cup, the higher it's going to take off on the back end. And when we see that, I mean, this one's probably going to launch us up into the mid 20s again, maybe even like the higher, like 25, 26 range again. If we get the dip all the way to 17, that could take us, the momentum of that move could take us all the way back up into this region, like halfway up this big red candle here. So keep an eye on that. It's actually very exciting. I'm going to try and get an entry, basically anything under $18. I'm kind of dollar cost averaging in now. at this point because we're starting to come up on, we're entering February at the end of the week. February is usually a pretty weak month. March, doesn't do much either. So I'm expecting some relative flatness unless Bitcoin ETF gets more inflows of cash, which causes Bitcoin to rocket, which will cause all of the miners to rocket as well. So keep a very close eye on those ETFs, the inflows there. Very close eye on Bitcoin itself, and that will determine whether or not we see a deeper dip on this handle before rocketing, or if we just go straight up and moon. Um, but I'm keeping a close eye. I'm doing dollar cost averaging in. I'm buying a little bit every day right now because I don't know what's going to happen. I've seen the power of the ETFs and I don't want to get left behind. Again, this is not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever, not financial advice of any kind. It's just what I'm doing with my portfolio at this point based on the events and the charts. So with that said, please like, comment, and subscribe and have a profitable day.